All right, so we started on manicuring yesterday and we're now live streaming just for this review. Let's look at a couple of videos and then we're going to go into some of the materials, but definitely the difference between single use and multi-use. We looked on the Tennessee State Board, the CIB, the bulletin that gives us direction of what to study for our state board exam. And it was a definite notice when it comes to nails that you understand the difference between single use and multi-use items. And so as a definition, single use items we use once, okay? Think about disposables, single use items we use once. We cannot use them again. They probably absorb moisture, and if something absorbs moisture, it absorbs bacteria. Okay, and so single use items only used once. Multi-use items can be disinfected. Okay, they can be washed with soap and water, cleaned with soap and water. From soap and water, they can go into your disinfectant solution. From the disinfectant solution, it can be rinsed and then dried and placed into your dry sterilizers. From the dry sterilizers, then you will have to go and store them in a clean, dry area, labeled container, and prepare to use when it's time to, when the service comes back around again. And so the biggest thing about Tennessee is still maintaining safety. Okay, it's a big safety aspect. Also, with Tennessee, when we talk about maintaining safety, we're talking about infection control. The big, how do you protect yourself? How do you protect the client? And so that PSI bulletin, page 11 and 12, are going to be heavy on the student understanding how they're graded. Okay, the biggest thing says protects you. You have your gloves on, your hand sanitizer protecting the client. You have them draped. Okay, you have neck strips, you have towels, things of that nature. Once we move over into the practical component, you will hear me talk about the safety precautions more as far as the clients, because before we do any service, okay, we have to make sure we wash our hands. That's our part of our state protocol, making sure we wash our hands. Okay, and then we have to make sure that we're good and the client is good as far as protecting, and the overall lens is infection control. Okay, so you're gonna get tired of hearing that. And as of now, it's still a majority factor in your testing. So everything we do, we're gonna make sure infection control is top tier. All right, let's look at this video here, and we're going to watch a couple of videos, but I want to say I'm going to look at protocols as well, procedure protocols. Okay, so let's do consultation. I want to say consultation is going to be big throughout your whole state board practice. Okay, every chapter you go to, we always look for the consultation component. All right, you're gonna have consultation components. You need to understand them for hair, skin, and nails. So as a cosmetologist, doesn't matter if they get a manicure, there's a consultation for that. If there's questions you should ask pertaining to that. When it comes to skin, there's questions you should ask pertaining to that. And also when it comes to hair, of course, we know different things we ask. If you're really good in a hair consultation, hair analysis, practice that with the skin, practice that with the nails, okay? Because you're going to see all three since your license covers all three. Let's look at the three-part procedure, the manicure consultation, the video. Please make sure that we are taking note as far as building conversation. And consultation is a major part of your state board theory exam. You're going to see consultation questions throughout. Almost a 12-minute video.
In this segment, we will demonstrate the pre-service procedure, which includes cleaning and disinfecting, basic table setup, greeting the client, and performing a needs assessment. It is required to disinfect your tools and implements after every use. Part of your pre-service procedure is to make sure you have a cleaned and disinfected set of implements available for your client. For a complete demonstration, watch the Cleaning and Disinfecting Non-Electrical Tools and Equipment segment. Making sure your workstation is clean and disinfected and prepared for efficiency and your client's comfort will make all the difference when performing a manicure or pedicure. To set up for a manicure, start by cleaning and disinfecting the table and drawer. Be sure to use an EPA-approved surface disinfectant according to the directions on the product label.
Be sure to leave the disinfectant on the table for the amount of time specified on the product label. These times aren't merely recommendations. Many surface disinfectants require a certain amount of time to completely disinfect the surface.
Lay a clean cloth or terry towel down over the width of your work surface. Now, take an additional clean towel and wrap the client's arm cushion. Position the cushion on the edge of the manicure table in front of the client. Next, place a lint-free disposable cloth in front of you to work from. This cloth can be replaced as needed throughout the service. Next, take out your abrasives and buffers and position them on the table where you can conveniently reach them during the procedure. Most technicians place their tools on the right because they are right-handed, but if you're left-handed, they'll be more easily accessible on your left side. Now prepare a trash receptacle where you can deposit used materials while performing the manicure. Use a metal trash can with a self-closing lid, or, if you don't have one, tape or clip a plastic bag to the side of your table. Plastic bags must be sealed and thrown away after every client to prevent product vapors from escaping into the salon air.
Most state board regulations require all technicians to have a metal trash container with a foot pedal-operated self-closing lid at their station. If you don't have a container like that, you can tape or clip a plastic bag to the edge of your table. But if you do use a plastic bag, just remember you need to seal it and throw it away after every single client.
The drawer of your manicure table is a great place to conveniently store tools and materials that you'll need immediate access to during a procedure, like extra cotton or cotton balls, abrasives, buffers, nail polish dryer, and any other supplies you might need. Be sure to always keep your drawer clean and organized. This makes it easier to quickly locate items in the middle of a procedure, and also ensures the cleanliness of your materials. Keep things organized by putting everything, especially cleaned and disinfected implements, in clean covered containers to protect them from dust and recontamination. Remember to never ever put used materials in your drawer. Before your client arrives, set out your tools and implements. Then, fill a finger bowl with warm water and place it on the left or right of your table. Place your manicure brush right next to the finger bowl. You will bring your finger bowl to the middle of the table when needed.
Whether you've been doing your client's nails for 10 years or it's her first nail service, your goal is to always make every single client feel special and welcome. Treat her like royalty. Greet her with a big smile and a friendly handshake. Introduce yourself if you've never met before, and if she's new to the salon, ask her for the consultation card or sheet she was asked to fill out in the reception area. It's also a great idea to give her a tour of the salon or spa so that she feels comfortable in the new environment.
Escort the client to the hand-washing area and have her wash her hands. First, demonstrate the proper hand-washing procedure using your own hands. Then, give the client a fresh nail brush and have her wash her own hands.
According to the Center for Disease Control, washing your hands is one of the most important steps you can take to avoid getting sick or spreading germs to other people.
Once your client has washed their hands, give the client a fresh, clean terry towel or disposable towel to dry off.
Make absolutely certain the towels you use are clean and not worn. These types of small details can have a profound effect on the client experience.
Show the client to your manicure table and make her comfortable before you begin the service. Now it's time to determine what type of service the client is looking for. Look over her consultation card, perform the needs assessment, and talk to her about her responses to determine a course of action for the service.
Being a good communicator is a necessity in the nail industry. One of the areas where communication is extremely important is during the client consultation, also known as a needs assessment. It is one of the most important parts of any service and should always be performed before starting the actual service. Effective client consultations will help you provide your client with the proper service.
Carefully read the client's intake form, asking the client questions as you're reading to break the ice and assess the client's wishes and needs. Keep the intake form close by throughout the procedure for reference. Next, evaluate the client's nails for length, strength, and healthiness. Take note of whether they are long, short, or somewhere in between. Notice if her nails are healthy and strong, brittle, or weak. Together, conclude what the client does and does not like when it comes to her nails. Discuss her nail history and find out what nail services she's had in the past, such as manicures, pedicures, or nail enhancements, and ask about the outcome of those services. Examine the shape of the client's nails and nail bed to determine an ideal length and shape for her nails. Also ask her what nail length and shape she prefers and why she likes them.
Finding out more about your client will help you get a better idea of the nail styles that best suit her lifestyle. Ask questions about her career, such as, what do you do for a living? Do you work in an office environment, or does your job require you to get your hands dirty? Ask lifestyle questions, like, do you spend a lot of time outdoors, or do you have hobbies that are rough on your nails? Ask about her goals for the nail services, like, do you have a strong personal style that you'd like your nails to project? And finally, find out how much time she is willing to invest in the nail service.
Show the client some photos of finished looks in your nail art books. Also show her color wheels and nail art rings. Ask her to point out the looks and colors she likes and the ones she doesn't like. Ask her to elaborate as to why she does or doesn't like them.
This is also a good time to make sure the client fully understands and accepts any personal limitations the nail service will cause. Pay close attention to what the client is saying and what she's looking for in the finished service. A good way to get a clear idea of what both you and the client are saying is through reflective listening. This is when you listen to what the client says and then repeat it back to her in your own words. Reflective listening is a very important skill to master. It will help you to know the best service for each of your clients and also to build a deep trust with them.
Now make some valid nail service suggestions to the client based on her lifestyle and any other relevant characteristics you've learned about her. If the client has expressed any unrealistic expectations or pointed out any unrealistic photos, tactfully explain why certain services may not work for her based on her individual characteristics or personal needs.
You should always be thinking of ways to make your client's new look more complete. Never hesitate to suggest add-on services. For example, if you provided the client with a manicure service, recommend a pedicure for a top-to-toe polished look, or even recommend a color service with a stylist you trust.
Again, remind the client of any lifestyle limitations associated with her chosen nail style or service. Then explain what maintenance services they will need to maintain the service they are receiving and how often they will need to schedule this. Also go over any home maintenance she will need to perform in order to keep her nails looking their best between salon services. Take note of the services to be performed on the client consultation card and reiterate everything that you and your client have agreed.
Explaining the service you will perform and the maintenance it will need in the future is the most critical step of the consultation process, because this determines the client's ultimate service experience. So take your time and be thorough.
Now it is time to perform the service. Remember to put on gloves at the start of each service.
A consultation factor includes prep for infection control as well. So just taking note before we're touching the client, we're always making sure that we are gloved. Where so far they've talked about finding out what the client wants, what their needs are, and just building a rapport, a conversation with them. So make sure you take note as to the consultation tactics they may have used.
In this segment, We will demonstrate the post-service procedure, which includes advising clients and promoting products, scheduling the next appointment and thanking the client, and preparing your work area and implements for the next client. Make sure your client understands how important home maintenance is to the longevity of her look. Tell her that proper home maintenance will help to ensure that her nails look beautiful until she comes back for another service. Let the client know that she should expect traditional polish to last for about 7 to 10 days. Now's the time to recommend any retail products you think the client may benefit from based on the service received and the condition of her hands. Explain why she needs each product, as well as when and how to properly use it. Escort your client to the front desk to schedule her next appointment and pay for her service. Thank the client for her business and tell her you'll be looking forward to seeing her again for her next visit. Have the receptionist assist her in scheduling her next appointment. Providing an appointment card with the time and date of her next service is a helpful reminder. After the client leaves, record any important details you have not already listed about her service on the client service form or computer record, including the service provided, products used, observations, and retail recommendations. Now clean up your station. Remove any products and tools from your table or cart and throw any used materials in the trash. Then clean and disinfect your work area. Follow the proper protocol for cleaning the foot spa after each client, shown in the Cleaning and Disinfecting Foot Spas and Basins segment. Clean and disinfect used implements according to the procedure demonstrated in cleaning and disinfecting non-electrical tools and equipment.
All right. That three-part consultation. Let's see. Escape that. All right, so let's keep note, three-part consultation. That is going to be the same thing that you're going to see all the time. The three-part consultation, you probably do it now and don't even know that you do it. There's a pre-service. The pre-service is the setup. You preparing for the client, okay? Also, it includes the consultation, the pre-service, all right? Then there's the actual service. Okay, that's the second part. It's the actual service. You performing the service. Part 3 is the post-service. Post-service is where we're finished with the actual service. We've come to a summary. We're also educating the client on what they should be doing until you see them again. Any kind of home maintenance. You're talking retail and rescheduling. Okay, and you're saying, I do this already. I know you do. I know you do that already, but that is the three-part procedure. And so I need you to make sure that you got that down. You'll have that in, we've seen it in skincare, we've seen it in hair. And so just putting some legs to it, three-part procedure. The pre, you're getting everything together, all you're discussing, consultation included. Client comes to the door, you are ready. They're part of the three-part procedure. The second part is you actually performing the service, okay? And the third part is the post. This is after the service, okay? Pre, initial, and post. Let's look at our I want you to highlight here in your SEMA manicuring procedures, rubrics, and videos. I want to go here, pre-service. what we just talked about. So it's no need for you to say you have the video, but you also have a 3-page slide presentation, okay? And so pre-service procedure, it lists your implements and materials, okay? Also tells you where to look for infection control, and then you're able to see the visual aspects of the basic table setup, all right? The basic table setup. It helps with greeting the client, and now you're preparing to do the service. That is the pre-service. I'm actually going to save this and put it in our group. Okay, save that. Let me show you. See? I just noticed you couldn't see it. All right, so that's the pre-service procedure. We just saw the video on it. So the pre-service, you actually have it in a logical form, written, implements and materials, just you getting your area together. It's also referencing infection control, where you can find hand washing and cleaning and disinfecting non-porous usable items. I want you to save this, okay? I want you to save this. I'm gonna put it in the group, but I do want you to save this because 5.1 and 5.2 is something you'll have to refer back to. You'll think you definitely will have questions related to these. Look at part B, the basic table setup. So it's a visual or basic table setup, take you step by step. And then part C is you greeting the clients and preparing to do the service. Part D is washing your hands and put on the gloves. Of course, probably wash our hands before we touch the client, but in this instance, we're greeting the client and getting them set up, okay? So I'm gonna save this. I'm gonna also post it in our private group, and that's just one component. Go back here. Okay, that's one component. So we still have video of pre-service. You just saw the 3-part service, and it just breaks it up. So this is found in your SEMA, performing the actual basic manicure.
In this segment, we will demonstrate how to perform a basic manicure. The basic manicure is the foundation of all other nail services that you'll perform, so you must practice the procedure to the point of mastery. A manicure includes trimming, shaping and buffing the fingernails, pushing back the cuticles, massaging the hands and arms, and polishing the nails. In preparation for the basic manicure, follow the pre-service procedure steps. You will want to start the manicure with clean nails, so remove the client's nail polish first.
So this is, of course, one of those videos in this rubric procedure area. I want to make sure that you explore SEMA. And in this particular chapter, of course, post-service procedure, same as before. We saw the video. Now this is a written logical component. These are the items. Post-service, we are doing our cleaning, okay? Advise clients and promote products. So this is where we educate the clients what to do until we see them again. Any home care, vacation care, and also the items that we used on them, home care maintenance, whether it's skin or body products, or it is clear polishes, cuticle oils, those things like that, lotions is what we would promote. Schedule next appointment with a thank you. A lot of times you have beauty industry individuals, they skip post-service. They just tell the client, see you next time. Oh, check my website. They don't build relationship rapport with clients. But as you see, post service is going to be really important. It is not only us cleaning up, it's you're building the relationship with the client. You're educating them about what you saw with their nails, what you don't want to see next time, things, maintenance they should do, giving the clients the opportunity to ask questions as well. Also scheduling the appointments. Okay. Here's the thing about scheduling appointments. A customer comes in once in a while. A customer is not a client. Okay. A client is where they get the term clientele. Okay. A client comes back, they return consistently. You got to give them something to come back to. Okay. And so this is where I talked about yesterday is the experience. All right. You have to give them something to come back to. You ain't got to do a whole lot of extra stuff, but just be professional. Well, some people don't have, and you're able to take care of them. They're able to come back. But you having a conversation with them about what they should do and what they should not do, and this is what you think it should go. You educating them, answering their questions, that builds experience rapport. You want everyone to have a great experience with you because people will thrive and look for that experience. Even if they go somewhere else, they will come back because they remember how you treated them. Okay. They remember the level of service that you gave them and they want that again. And so we want to build clientele and we don't just want customers. Target called the people that come shop with them guests. Okay. Not customer needs help on aisle one, it's guests. And one thing that I remember, I used to work for Target from like 18 to 21, something of that nature. I went through multiple levels of promotions and leadership. And the number one thing I tell people I credit Target with is customer service. If I left there to pursue a full-time beauty career, I left with something. I left with how to serve people. Okay, I left with how to serve people. That and God teaching me about servanthood in the church have all been amazing in my clientele because I'm not looking for somebody to respect me. I'm not looking for somebody to earn something. I give it. And that's a big difference. And remember, we want people to come back and patronize with us for a service that does not save their life. So this is bonus on top of home, rent, insurance, all that stuff, food, their necessities. This is bonus that they come spend money with us. Yeah, we want to build a rapport. We want to serve them. We want them to feel welcome, home. Sometimes they say this is a team family. Great, but what's more important is that our clients feel that, our clientele, our guests feel that. And when you call them guests, they're no longer just a singular, they're no longer a singular customer, a random person that just comes in, a consumer. The guest, all right? The guests feel like when they're coming into your home. And so think about that. Do not skip post service. It's the conversation, it's the buildup. And many times the world or certain parts of the industry make us think, hey, just get your online booking site and send them there, send them to the booking site, send them to the booking site. But it gets convenient, but it tears away the personality and tears away the relationship. And so still pull the booking site up at the post. Pull the site up. Maybe they don't know how to navigate. Show them when you go to the site, or I'm going to send you a link. When you go to the site, this is where you book. Educate them. Because what if you got an AI generated site, which sometimes can be filled with a lot of words? All right. You need to go in and minimize that verbiage. All right. Because to a lot of people, it could just be a lot. And they don't want to go through that. It's too much reading. It's too much. And so you will need to know your clients. And so look at even your site yourself and see if you can navigate it if it was you. But definitely schedule the next appointment. And we learn to schedule the next appointment simply because we pay our bills from the schedule. All right. If we know rent is coming up and it's such and such, such and such. When I look and see what my clients look like, I know if I can pay their rent or not. Okay. So we build our lives off of our schedules, our calendars. And so the more rapport that we do with clients, the more that we make them feel like guests, and we make them feel like family and clientele, the more that they will trust you and continue to build a relationship and come to you for their personal services. And then there's, of course, preparing the work area and implements for the next client. A lot of times we like to scoop over this part, but I'm telling you, never leave this. Never get ready to go home without cleaning up. Never. Take you from experience. You can be tired, dirt tired, whatever. Learn how to clean up as you go, or make sure you do it before you leave. I had stay board come when I was like 20 years old. I had stay board, long night. Stay board met me at the shop the next day. I'm like, oh my goodness. I passed it, but I could have got better. So I was not content until they came back and I got 100. Okay. And so we're not going to do that. Always learn from experiences, and your teachers we're here to help you in those areas, and also share and be transparent with you so you don't make the same mistakes we did. All right. But definitely make sure that we clean and we're going forward. As we know, it's a major emphasis on safety and infection control, hygiene. So the cleaning option is not up for grabs. Okay, it has to be done. You as a professional have to understand what type of cleaner you're going to be. You're going to learn early. Okay, because some people will put you out of their salons if you're not tidy and clean. They will put you out of their salons, their businesses, because the salon owner and manager will take the hit for anything being dirty and unsanitary when state board comes in. So you got to make sure, if you're in a salon or even in suites or whatever, you got to make sure you maintain a great routine when it comes to cleaning up, infection control. I'm going to place this one in the group as well. Okay, place this one in the group as well. Okay. All right, let's watch the video on polish the nails and we'll pick back up.
In this segment, we will demonstrate how to polish the nails. Typically, you start by applying a base coat, followed by 2 coats of polish in the client's chosen color, and finish the look with a top coat. Before applying any polish, ask your client to put back on any jewelry or outerwear she may have taken off before her service. Also, make sure she has her car keys handy for easy retrieval. If possible, have her pay for her services, or at least have her payment ready to give to the receptionist. These precautions help to avoid smudging the freshly polished nails. Make sure the client's nail plates are clean of oil and other debris by using a lint-free wipe saturated with alcohol, acetone, or polish remover. Then, starting with the pinky on the right hand, apply a thin base coat to the entire plate.
A base coat really serves 2 purposes. First, it protects the surface of the nail from getting stained by the polish, and second, it provides a base for the polish to provide better adhesion and longer wear. Be sure to apply the base coat evenly and over the entire nail surface and free edge to ensure a perfect polish application.
Let the base coat dry while you polish the non-dominant hand. Polishing the dominant hand first gives the most used, key-holding hand a head start in drying, reducing the chances of smudging. Remove the brush from the bottle of nail polish and wipe it away from you on the inside lip of the bottle to remove excess polish. You want a bead of polish that's just large enough to coat the entire nail plate without having to re-dip the brush. Keep in mind that you might still need to re-dip the brush if the nail plate is unusually large or long. To apply your first coat of polish to the center of the nail, hold the brush at about a 30 to 35 degree angle, place the tip of the brush at the center of the nail, about 1/16 inch or 1.59 millimeters away from the cuticle area. Lightly press the brush onto the nail plate, slightly fanning the brush. Then, push the brush towards the eponychium as close as you can without touching the skin to produce a rounded posterior edge to the polish. Finally, pull the brush toward the free edge down the center of the nail. Apply polish to the sides of the nail by pulling even strokes from the base to the tip. Your first color coat doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to establish the correct outline and cover the entire nail with some polish. Seal the tip of the nail by polishing the free edge. Move the brush back and forth on the very end of the free edge to apply color to it. You don't need to apply much pressure here. You should barely be touching the free edge. Tip sealing, or tipping, reduces chipping and layering on the free edges. Tip seal every nail as you apply the first coat of color to both hands. Now, apply a second coat of color to the first hand. With your second coat, reapply polish to the tip. Simply start at the base of the polish curve and move towards the free edge. Apply a thin, even coat that has depth of color and perfect appearance. Apply a top coat to prevent chipping and give the nails a glossy, finished look. Be sure to coat the free edge with the top coat too. If you're using a polish drying agent first, apply it according to the manufacturer's instructions. Then have the client position her hands under a nail dryer or seat her comfortably away from your table. The nails will take at least 10 minutes to dry. To produce beautifully polished nails, you must learn how to polish accurately and quickly before you leave school. Many clients judge their final manicure according to the quality of their polish job. Remember, your clients will constantly see your finished work during their daily lives, and so will be constantly reminded of the good or poor quality of your service. Finish by following your post-service procedure steps.
All right. So that is a part of the the service as well. Polishing, you only have to do one nail when it comes to that. And you may not even have to do that when it comes to the acrylic component. So that is a area that we can explore as well. Here where you see where it says Rubik, okay, and hand massage, you definitely want to make sure you always click this so you can see the full screen when it comes to the hand massage. Every video you're going to see, you're also going to see a breakdown, okay? And for a lot of people, this breakdown is going to be amazing, all right? And so I love the breakdowns. I'm going to save this here, okay? Where it says download Rubik 25. Let me show you what that is. 20-5. So when we move over into our practical component, and you can start doing it now, well, these are our steps, okay? There's a lot of steps, all right? So there's 15 steps, all right? Hand massage procedure and arm massage procedure. What happens is we will rate you as competent, needs work, and commit. You would not get a grade, a letter grade, okay? So I would ask you to show me how you apply massage lotion, oil, or cream to the client's hand. Once you show me that, I will mark whether you understand it or whether you need work, all right? And based on the items that you need work is what you would continue to practice on. You'll be reassessed on it, okay? If you have company in all of these, we can move on to the next thing because it is understood that you know how to do a hand and arm massage, okay? And so all of those are available as well. great handouts, and you'll find it in the lower part of chapter 20 in your SEMA chapter. Okay, as I was saying before, you also have that procedure, and so you're loaded with resources. There's a video again of hand and arm massage. And then you have your check-in questions. All right. So let's get the video of hand and arm massage, and we can prepare to close out. Hold on one moment.
In this segment, we will demonstrate how to perform a hand and arm massage. Many clients look forward to the massage portion of their manicure the most. Massages are an optional add-on to the basic manicure, but it's a good idea to always include one because it has such a positive impact on the client. Start with a hand massage. To keep your client comfortable, wrap the hand you aren't working on in a warm, clean towel. Apply and distribute massage lotion, oil, or cream to the client's hands. Apply enough lotion so your own hands can move freely across the client's skin without any resistance. Hold the client's hand and arm loosely. Try not to apply too much restraint during the massage. Begin the hand massage with a relaxer movement on the wrist. Position the client's elbow on a cushion covered with a clean towel or on a rolled towel. Brace the client's arm below the wrist area and entwine your fingers with your other hand. Slowly and gently bend the wrist fully back until it stops, and then forward until it stops. Repeat this motion 5 to 10 times or until you feel the client has relaxed. Now perform a joint movement with the fingers. Lower the client's arm so it's resting fully on the cushion. With your non-dominant hand, brace the client's hand. With your dominant hand, hold the little finger at the base of the nail and gently rotate the finger to form circles. Repeat this motion 3 to 5 times on each finger, working towards the thumb.
For a fluid massage, at least one of your hands should always be touching the client's skin. If you need more cream, oil, or lotion during the massage, leave one hand on the client's hand or arm and retrieve more product with your other hand. Keep your massage product in a pump container to facilitate this important technique.
Touch your thumbs to the client's palm and rotate them in a smooth, circular motion up.
And even when I was in aesthetics, and I do a lot of aesthetics, I would refer back to the hand and arm massage I learned from manicuring. And the same movements you would use when you're massaging and shampooing, use those same movements on the hand and arm.
Up the center, over to the side, and down, moving in opposite directions. Then, draw circles from the bottom of the palm, up the center of the hand, and again move out across the underside of the fingers and back down to the bottom and towards the center. This light stroking motion, known as effleurage, becomes rhythmic and relaxing. You'll be able to feel the client's hands relax as you perform the movements. Effleurage movements must be smooth and gentle, even predictable, to induce relaxation. Now perform a circular movement on the wrist. Holding the client's hand in both of your hands, touch your thumbs to the top of her hand and your fingers to the bottom. Draw circles with your thumbs in opposite directions on the back of the client's hand. This deep rubbing action is a form of friction massage and is very stimulating. Move from the wrist to the knuckle and back 3 to 5 times. The last time you rotate up, brace your hands around the wrist and gently twist in opposite directions to ring the wrist. This is the last movement usually performed as part of a basic manicure. Repeat the same steps on the other hand, always keeping the hand not being worked on wrapped in a warm towel. When finished, complete the hand massage with a final feathering off movement on both hands. If your client is receiving a luxury manicure, move on to the arm massage. Apply and distribute lotion or cream to the client's arm. Make sure there is enough lotion on the client's skin to allow your hands to smoothly glide over the arm. Start by performing effleurage of the arm. Hold the client's wrist firmly but gently with your non-dominant hand. Place the palm and fingers of your dominant hand on the client's skin, and cupping your fingers around the arm, glide your hand up the arm from the wrist to elbow. Apply slight pressure with your fingers, thumb, and palm as you move up the arm to induce relaxation. Then apply lighter pressure as you move back down to the wrist area. Every time you reach the top of the arm, rotate the hand to the underside of the arm while pulling the hand back towards you. Perform this gliding motion several times. Now perform the same movements on the underarm. Press forward, release the pressure at the end, and gently rotate the hand to the top of the arm and pull it lightly back toward the hand. Perform a friction movement on the arms. A friction massage involves rubbing the muscles against each other. Position the client's arm on the table, palm up with fingers towards you. Place your fingers under the arm to stabilize it. Rotate your thumbs in opposite directions, starting at the client's wrist and working toward the elbow. When you reach the elbow, slide your hand down the client's arm to the wrist and rotate back up to the elbow 3 to 5 times. Turn the client's arm over and repeat this motion 3 to 5 times on the top side of the arm. To provide a ringing or friction movement on the arm, place the arm horizontally on the towel in front of you and place your hands around the arm. Gently twist the arm in opposite directions as though you're wringing out a washcloth. Repeat this motion up and down the forearm from wrist to elbow 3 to 5 times. Kneading, or pétrissage, is a squeezing motion that moves flesh and muscles over the bones in opposite directions, stimulating and increasing blood flow. Place your thumbs horizontally on the top side of the client's arm. Move them in opposite directions from wrist to elbow and back down to the wrist. Do this 3 to 5 times. Now, rotate the elbow using a friction massage move. Brace the client's arm with your non-dominant hand and retrieve more lotion with your dominant hand. Cup the client's elbow and rotate your hand over it 3 to 5 times. Next, do finger pulls. Note that finger pulls should not be performed on clients with severe arthritis. Gently slide both hands down the forearm from the elbow to the fingertips. Hold the hand with your non-dominant hand and move to the fingers. With your thumb on top and your pointer finger arched below, gently grab the little finger and pull it down to the tip. Do this on each finger 3 to 5 times. Repeat the arm massage on the opposite arm, remembering to cover and uncover the arms with warm towels as needed. End the massage with the final feathering off movement. Lay both of the client's hands palm down on the table and cover them with your own hands, palms down. Gently press the client's hands with your palms 3 times. Then, gently lift your palms, leaving your fingertips on the base of the hand. With a light as feather touch, drag your fingers from the base of the hands, down the fingers, and off the fingertips. Repeat this 2 to 3 times. Clients will quickly learn that this final movement, called feathering off, signifies the end of the massage.
And as I stated before, those basic massage movements, you're going to be able to see them when you perform shampoo services, also just a general standalone scalp massage services, your facial, which includes a massage, and also hand and arm. You are within your scope of practice to also do the feet, okay? And so there are many components. You can't do the whole body, but as a cosmetologist, you have many areas to really upgrade when it comes to clients, and many areas to practice to build your muscles in your hands to do the services. So I'm always excited about that. All right, so we're gonna look at chapter 20 tomorrow. We'll be back. We're going to close chapter 20 and move into 21 and also continue the review for this nail. So we're moving from manicuring to pedicuring, and I pulled together some questions that we're going to review tomorrow. Check-in questions. That's what I want you to work on this week for chapter 20 is the check-in questions for manicuring, okay? We will do a due date tomorrow, but just get started working on them. And it's probably going to do by Monday, okay? Because we're going to move speedily into pedicuring. I might end up adding pedicuring check-in questions to that as well. Let me look at my calendar. But that's all we're going to do for now. That was our closing of our part 2. And so we'll have part 3 tomorrow with an intro into pedicuring. You have a great and amazing evening. If you need anything, just please give me a call. I'm gonna also send you some messages